What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Marcus of the Rodent, and today we are doing part 11 of a multi-part series that we got going on, where I give you 10 cars that are under 1K all the way up to 100K with 0 duplicates. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I give you a list for 15K, which is today. Next is going to be 20K, 25K, 50K, and then 100K. If you watch all these videos, you can get a combined total of 155 different cars. I say 55, by the way, because there's an honorable mention in every video, so there's technically 11. So you can get 155 different cars. Like, what else could you want? Today it's 15K, boys. So if you want to support the channel, head on over to www.smoothstance.com/shop to pick yourself up a hat. I don't have it on. A shirt or some shorts. And with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. All right, so coming in at the number 10 spot is going to be the absolutely wonderful Volvo V70R. It's a family wagon turned race car and one of my favorite Volvos of all time. Personally, okay, don't get mad at me now. It comes with a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 5, making 300 horsepower exactly, and it was all-wheel drive, so you could very easily daily drive this car year-round. It's also very reliable because it's a freaking Volvo. That's the beauty of these fast Volvos, is that they are still a Volvo at heart, meaning that they're absolutely going to be fine to daily drive if you choose to go that route. But if you decide to go the modifying route, well, they do that extremely well too, buddy old pal. These cars are freaking monsters. You put a couple little bolt-ons on this car, this thing's a ripper. A lot of people like to rally race Volvos, and if you, hey, if you want to do that, power to you. These things look sick off-road. Next up is kind of the opposite of the Volvo that we just talked about. It is the Toyota Mark II. Yes, that's right, buddy old pal. You can find an import for under $15,000, and this is not going to be the last of the imports in today's video. I know. You're probably like, there's no way. I'm not finding an imported JDM car for under 15K. Well, you are. This one came with a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 6, making 276 horses going to the rear wheels. And in case you don't know, that horsepower number is literally just to make the Japanese government happy during the gentleman's agreement. So this motor made a decent amount more horsepower than 276, let me tell you. And if you decide to tune this motor, you absolutely can, since it has that wonderful 1JZ GTE, which is pretty much the younger brother to the incredibly tunable 2JZ GTE found in the Mark IV Supra. So if you want a Mark IV Supra but with 4 doors and a lot cheaper, pick this up. Next up is a very modern little sports car, one that you may call a go-kart more than a car. It is the Mazda Miata ND. People commonly mistake the NA Miata as being the only Miata that's fun to drive. But if you have the funds to afford a new one, they're a freaking blast, bro. Do not sleep on the ND Miatas. They come with a 2 liter inline 4, making 181 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, that's pretty much slower than my grandma's Buick, buddy, so like, why would I pick that up? And yes, it's probably, your grandma will probably absolutely smoke you in a straight line, but this car handles like an absolute master in the corners. So if you take this to the twisties, your grandma's not gonna know what hit her. Plus, it looks really cool, man. At least to me it does. It looks sick. If you slam this freaking Miata on the ground, have you ever seen a like stanced ND Miata? The thing looks great. Number 7 is an actual beast. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, you can say. It is the Ford Taurus Show. Yes, that's right. I'm saying that buying a Taurus for under 15K if you want a sports car is a good idea. And that's because it is, all right? It comes with a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, making a pretty freaking massive 365 horsepower, and it was all-wheel drive. Here's a little history lesson for you, in case you don't know. This car was the car most commonly used by the police for years now, and they still are using them. Sooner or later, though, every cop needs an upgrade or they want to move on, and so what they do is they sell their old police interceptors at auction for an incredibly low price. So if you want an even cheaper model of Ford Taurus Show with some po-po upgrades on it, at the downside of having to look like a car guy's #1 enemy, then buy an old Interceptor Taurus Show at auction. Next up is an incredibly reliable little sports car that's just an all-around good package. It is the Honda Civic Si 10th generation. Yes, you can find a 10th gen SI, which is the newest model besides the 11th gen, for under 15K nowadays, and yes, it is an absolute steal. It comes with a 1.5 liter turbo inline 4, making a very nice 205 horsepower going to the front wheels. And now, that's not that great. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that that's pretty fast. It ain't. It really isn't the fastest car on the list, but The power lies within the tuning for these Honda motors, and I'm sure the 10th generation is exactly the same. Honda has always just been an amazing platform to put a turbo on your car and just go incredibly fast. What else would you want? They also won't break the bank, by the way, for the repairs. So if you need something to daily drive, this car's reliable, and if it does break, it's not going to be expensive. Coming in at number 5, yes, that's right, we're already halfway through this list. It is coming from the wonderful land of Germany, the Volkswagen GTI Mark 7, which honestly blows me away that it is already under 15K. These are, once again, the second newest generation of GTI right now, and they're under 15K, so that's a pretty good deal. It comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 228 horsepower, and it was front-wheel drive. And this is pretty much the German version of the Civic, to be honest with you. It is just an incredibly reliable daily driver that can be very fun when you need it to be. On top of that, these Volkswagen motors, just like the Civic, can be good, very good, for tuning as well. You just put some simple bolt-ons on it and tune, and you can get around 350 horsepower is what people say online. And that's very good for a hatchback that's pretty damn light, so, and it'll still be reliable, so that's a good deal. Next up though is actually a living legend within the car community today, and nobody knows that it's under freaking 15K. It blows me away, but it is the Honda S2000. Yes, I know you probably think this car is worth like $50,000, but luckily it still isn't quite there yet. It comes with a 2.2-liter inline-4, making 247 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. And this is obviously one of Honda's most influential models to ever exist. It was a rear-wheel drive, 2-seater, 250 horsepower Honda, which in the early 2000s was an insane feat for them. It still is an insane feat. They don't make rear-wheel drive cars at all. They don't make 2-seater cars at all. So it's like pretty impressive that they made this car. Also, the handling was incredible since it is a Honda, and they always seem to make the car handle like an absolute dream. So sure, it isn't the best for daily driving by no means, but if you want an absolute race car, pick this thing up. It's actually worth the money still. But getting the bronze medal for today is going to be the Audi S4 B8, which is somewhat of a letdown to the Audi S4 line, apparently, to some of the S4 boys. But it's still a very good car. Okay, it's not like it's a horrible car. It's just that a lot of the S4 guys are a little bit disappointed in it. And that's because it comes with a 3-liter supercharged V6, making 333 horsepower. And it was quattro all-wheel drive. So the all-wheel drive system is honestly probably the best in the world. But the generation before this, the B7 S4s, was actually a lot faster than the new generation. So people think that it was kind of a letdown. And honestly, I kind of have to agree. I mean, I'll let you decide on that. That's your own opinion. But to me, going slower from a generation is pretty sad. Either way, though, it is a fast, good-looking, very comfortable Audi that can make some incredible horsepower if you wanted to. Just stock, it's not going to be as fast as the B7. Silver medal for today, however, is going to be a bit biased. Yes, you're looking at it correctly. It is the wonderful Nissan 370Z. I mean, come on, boys. You knew I was going to put a 370Z on one of these lists. I am a Nissan boy at heart. I love these cars, and luckily it can be on the 15K list because they're kinda underrated. I say underrated, but it's a 370Z. How underrated is that? Anyway, it comes with a 3.7-liter V6, making 330 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. And that engine is actually pretty good for tuning, in case you don't know. Most people say that you can get these up to around 700 to 800 horsepower without having to open up the motor at all, which is very good. I know everybody's like so caught up on having like a 2JZ that can reach 1,000 horsepower. Not every motor is built like that, okay? So being able to get to 700 or 800 horsepower on stock internals is pretty impressive. They also make for some incredible drift cars if you have the funds to afford to drift a $15,000 car. The honorable mention for today is the second import of the list. It is the Nissan Skyline GTSB R32, which is pretty much a GTR, but it's not all-wheel drive, and it doesn't have the RB26 motor in it. So honestly, it's not like a GTR at all, but it comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-6, making 212 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. And most people turn these things into little drift cars like all the freaking time, and they do it incredibly well too. The motor in these is incredibly good for tuning. It wants to get sideways all the time, and it's rear-wheel drive with tons of aftermarket support. But first place for today is actually a muscle car, which I know it's kind of odd for this channel. Usually I hype up all the Japanese cars, but I gotta be unbiased here, and it is the Cadillac CTSB 2nd generation, which is an incredible little sleeper if you're racing someone who just doesn't know what it comes with, because they've kind of been around for a while now, so people kind of know what they are, but not everyone, so you can still catch some people off guard. That motor is an insane 6.2 liter supercharged V8, making a absolutely massive 556 horsepower to the rear wheels. Yes, that is right. This car makes over 500 horsepower, and it looks like a family sedan. That's insane. And by the way, that motor is the same motor from the C6 Chevy Corvette ZR1, which was an incredible race car. I mean, come on, guys. How could I not put this car at number 1? It is an insanely fast car that, if you wanted to, could be even faster, since it does have an LS motor in it. It's just like perfect for a car guy. There's nothing, and you can carry all your friends around in it because it's a freaking sedan. This is like a Hellcat Charger before the Hellcat Charger existed. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment another video you'd like to see down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow. Maybe like a good, bad, and ugly, but I'm kind of trying to steer away from the good, bad, and uglies because I want to spend more time doing like the deep dives videos. You guys obviously like those way more, so I want us to do those more often. But we'll see what we do with that. I'm not 100% sure. It might be a tier list actually tomorrow. It might be a tier list tomorrow. We might do that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Das Vidania. Have a nice night.